Whenever you get that itch, that pull, that desire to live or work differently, you need to find you a possibility model. Finding possibility models, actively seeking out possibility models, and just being open to possibility models is something that has completely shifted my perspective. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video is the importance of, well, first of all, what a possibility model is, the importance of possibility models, and how you might go out and actively seek a possibility model for yourself. When I was in as a high achieving woman, ambitious, I had several possibility models as a child to look up to, my grandmother being one of them, graduating from college with a bachelor's degree in the 1950s. Talk about a possibility model. I had her right in front of my face because it's important to see what is possible for you, possibilities that you might not even know that could be available for you. It's just really important to see that no matter what age we are, even in my adulthood, I'm still seeking out possibility models, and I'll, share a little bit of that with you. But when I was a child and being this overachiever, eldest daughter, everything that comes along with that, I had a lot of possibility models of go getters, overachievers, ambitious, just high achieving women around me. Um, my aunt was, I think this was in the 70s or something along those lines. Anyways, I think she was like one of the first like black teenage pageants or something like that. So I had all of that around me for sure. What I did not have around me as a child of people who had careers in the arts or had non-traditional careers that was successful. I think that would have really changed my outlook, and I know it would have completely changed my life if I had possibility models that had non-traditional careers or careers in the arts that was financially sustainable. And I knew they were out there and happening. I mean, they had to be. It's just I did not have access to that, and which is why I ended up taking the path of, what I saw around me, what I was told was stable. I went into healthcare, ultimately healthcare leadership, and I burnt out in healthcare leadership. And I just kind of woke up one day like burnt out, overweight, and anxiety on 1,000. Like, who put me in this life? And it just, it just came to me, I just didn't see anyone doing any careers in the arts or anything like that as a child. And I wish I would have. I wish I would have. I know things would have turned out differently. Again, I don't regret anything. I'm very grateful for all of my lived experiences, both the good and the not so good one. But there is so much power in having a possibility model. So a possibility model is someone that you can have access to, like direct access to, who is doing something that you desire. It could be a job, it could be a lifestyle, it could be a career, whatever that is, the way they run their business, like the way they present themselves, the way they show up, their level of confidence, whatever it may be for you that you see in them. And you're like, that there's something about this person that I really like. I would love to do that. And the reason why I say having someone you can have access to, because I think people might, when you say possibility model, someone may think immediately like a celebrity or a movie star or something like that. But we can't get access to like a Beyonce or a Rihanna, or like not the normal person, let's put it like that. So when I say someone you have access to, even if it's someone on social media, like maybe you can get inside of their community if they offer communities, or if you found them on social media, maybe reach out to them in their DMs, asking them for some of their time. Maybe they have coaching or something that they can offer. Just finding a way to get inside of their atmosphere to allow them to basically mentor you, and that could be in an official capacity or an unofficial capacity. So I'm going to talk about like the first time I kind of realized I was actively like seeking out possibility models, but not really knowing it at the time. And it was when after my sabbatical. So when I burnt out from corporate America, I went on a nearly 1 year sabbatical. It was about 10 months, and I had the most glorious time ever. I volunteered to organizations that I desired. I traveled a little bit here and there. I woke up with so much joy and calm and peace in my life. I met new friends, and girl, you know how hard it can be sometimes to, first of all, being an introvert like I am, and just being an adult, how difficult it can be sometimes to make new friends. But I made new friends during this season. My sabbatical was just like the one of the most glorious times of my life. And I really feel like every woman, especially Black women, at some point in their professional careers should take a sabbatical. I'll do a whole nother video on that at some point. But during my sabbatical, while I was traveling, while I was volunteering, you have a small talk with people. You go certain places, people, the first question they ask is like, well, what do you do? What line of work are you in? And I would be like, oh, I'm on sabbatical, blah, blah, blah. And they would just be so curious and be like, oh, tell me more. And after I shared, a little bit about like my upbringing and my burnout story, they're like, wow, you should write a book. More people need to hear about that. And I heard that like multiple times during my sabbatical, and it just really planted a seed. And when I told my best friend about it, she was like, I think you should too. And that was like the real seed that was planted on me writing my book, Release and Renew. I talk about my burnout journey from my upbringing, in the middle of the burnout, everything that happened, how I got out of the burnout, and how I started building this life that I live today, which I'm continuing to build. So it's part memoir, part guide, but it's really reflective, and it has helped so many other women. If you're interested in learning more, I'll put the link in the description box below. But once I said, okay, I am going to write this book, of course, I needed help. I've always been a writer. I used to write short stories, again, as a part of my creativity as a child with my grandmother. So I used to write short stories, and I had a style blog at one time. So I was used to writing, but I had never written a book. So of course you need to find help, support to write a book. So some names I'm going to share of people, and some names I'm not going to share. But I took some of Alex L. She's a New York Times best-selling writer. She has a new book coming out soon at the time that I'm recording this video, called The Company We Keep. But I had taken a few of her, I took one of her, I've taken several of Alex's writing classes. The first one I took of hers was when I was, this was when I knew, when I was in my corporate leadership role, that something had to change. I took a week to a wellness resort in Arizona. Glorious time. I write about that in the book too. But on the last day, Alex was there. I didn't know her at the time, but she was there facilitating a journaling workshop on like gratitude. So I took her workshop. And of course, if you've ever encountered Alex, she's just a beautiful human, so calm, so smart, beautiful writer. I was like, I want to know more about her. So I started, following. Of course, we chit chatted because it was a small, intimate writing course. I think it was maybe 10 people in the course at the wellness resort. So we chit chatted a little bit after, and I started following her on Instagram. Took a few more of her writing courses virtually. And when I got ready to write the book, I booked a one-on-one session with her because I wanted her to be my writing mentor. So we chit chatted, and by the time I got around to being ready for her support, she had her contract for her next book. So she was like, Erica, I'm not going to be able to support you in the way that I think you need it and you deserve it, but I know someone who can help you. So she directed me to someone else, Shalene Knight. She helped me bring my book from ideation to inception in such a beautiful experience. I did talk about my whole book writing experience back when I first started this YouTube channel, but Shalene quickly became one of my possibility models. She's based in Canada, so things are different, but just how she has built such an intentional business doing work that she loves, which is helping writers. And now she's kind of bucketed that into creatives as a whole, live more well lives while still pouring into their art, which is their writing, or however they choose to identify as a creative. So again, doing work that she loves with the type of people that she wants to work with, and being financially sustainable. She is the last thing there's no hustle, there's no grind, there's no go, do. And I needed to see that. I needed to see a woman of color living in her full self, being calm, being financially stable, doing work in a creative capacity that she loves with the people she loves, and being financially successful. So I needed to see that. So Shalene has become one of my mentors to this day. Again, just how she's built her business. I reach out to her often just for words of encouragement, sometimes business advice. She has a paid community that I joined. And that's what I mean by sometimes you will have to pay to be in these groups. But again, every community that I've been a part of that I paid for, haven't regretted it at all. So Shalene was one of my possibility models, and I needed to see that. Moving closer to today, excuse me, and I don't have my water. I have another possibility model who I met at the end of my book writing journal to actually help me market my book, launch my book, because I'm like, Erica, like, I don't know what I was thinking, but after I had put all of this work, this beautiful work into creating this book and getting it to the finish line, I don't know what I thought I was going to do. Just like, okay, I had to develop a strategy to actually launch the book and put it out in the world for people to buy. And girl, I had completely missed that step. So I hired basically a launch manager to help me launch it. And that's how I met this particular woman named Nakrissa. And again, she has multiple elements to her business as a digital creator or digital entrepreneur. And the way, again, that she has built a multi six-figure business, not hustling, not grinding. She's definitely an introvert, and just being herself, a Black woman. I needed to see that. A digital entrepreneur doing work digitally on the internet, making digital products, teaching other people how to make digital products. She's making multi six figures. Like, I just needed to see that. Like, you need to see people who are, again, doing the type of things you want to do, living the type of life you desire to like, and really being able to get in there and, again, get in their atmosphere, get in their community, and ask them questions. Because we also know too, everything that we see might not be what it really is. So you will also need to, again, get close enough to the person, really get in community with the person so you can ask, hard questions, some behind the scenes questions. And again, you might have to pay for that. But again, with Nakrista, I just needed to see that, like, because we just don't see, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I just did not see a lot of successful Black women, making money financially in a way that they can sustain themselves. And again, the actual amount of money will be different for everybody. But just being in a capacity that is just not hustle culture, that's not always in your face, or it doesn't have these big animated personalities. Like, I just needed to see that. And it's been like night and day in the way that I'm building my business currently. Because when I had stepped away from corporate America and I started saying, hey, what I do know is that I cannot live my life like this. I can't let my ambition or my achievement take over my life, and especially not in this capacity. Like, I was going to have to start rebuilding my relationship with ambition in a way that my wellness was centered. But I did not have a possibility model for that during that time. All I seen in corporate America was women climbing the ladder and doing it at any cost. And that's not what I desired. I had already paid the cost and I was not willing to pay it again. So I didn't have any possibility models as I started living this life where my wellness is centered, where rest is centered, where my personal creative expression is centered, while still being focused on doing good work, doing meaningful work, and being ambitious, being high achieving. I didn't have that. So I kind of had to figure things out for myself. And that's why I'm doing these series of videos, because at some point I want to be someone's possibility model, just to show them, like, you can be high achieving, you can be ambitious, but you don't have to do it at the cost of yourself. Like, you don't have to do it that way. And you don't have to stumble around to find your footing if you can find other women who share those same ideas. Now, most recently, a possibility model that I found was Lisa A. Smith. If you don't know her, get into it. I found her, actually, one of my girlfriends who's a physician sent me a clip of her when she was on Instagram that had went viral. And I immediately was like, ooh, she is talking that talk. She is a health coach, a vegan health coach. And I'm not vegan, but I live a very clean lifestyle. I guess I would call myself a non-dairy pescatarian. I still eat seafood here and there, but no other meat products, and no dairy products. But Lisa A. Smith, she is the truth. Again, she really talks about living a plant-based lifestyle, vegan, plant-based, whole foods lifestyle. And she is so smart. She is so like your girlfriend, gonna keep it real with you, keep it straight with you. And she's recently pivoted into like the chronic stress area and helping people eliminate chronic stress in their lives. And of course that resonated with me. And again, I've gotten in her community. I've taken some of her free courses, her free live classes, and getting in the room with those people. And she preaches, get in the room with these people and ask questions, especially when they're offering free live events, why wouldn't you get in that space and ask questions? But again, just the way that she's showing up in the world, the way that she takes up space in the world as a Black woman, building this business, helping people of color live healthier lifestyles, not just in the food that they eat, but in their lifestyle with, stress and being working in their purpose. Again, I needed to see that. I needed to see it. And you can just see like how enthusiastic I am about these three women that I just listed as my current possibility models as I'm building a business, as I am moving forward to fully transitioning out of corporate America. You need to see this. You need to see it. So if you are in a season where you are finding the itch, the pull, the desire just to live a different way, just to work a certain way, find yourself a possibility model. Find yourself someone that you can have access to, that you can get around and start learning and seeing that what you want isn't like a fairy tale or isn't real. And if you can't find a possibility model, become the possibility model. Become the possibility model for someone else. I'm Erica Prevail, and I share daily conversations helping ambitious women rework their relationship with ambition, capacity, rest, and creativity. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.